Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Ked the Revolutionary for another quick session. Really quick, really quick. Karibuni sana, karibuni sana. Hey, if this is your first time just getting to know about this channel, please. We talk about Kenyan politics and the wild politics as it relates to Kenya. So go ahead and subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. If you've already subscribed, please go ahead. You know the first order of business. Hit that like button, okay? And if you're going to watch this on repeat, please do the same, okay? Put your notification button on so every time I come in, you can always be notified that I'm online. So you can join the discussion on the chat or you can ask for the link and I'll pull up and give you the link so you can get in and have a discussion with me. Now, the topic at hand is a very quick, short one. I will not hold you, okay? The topic is my issue with We Are All Kikuyus hashtag. So, hey, listen. There is this hashtag that's going around in Kenya now that's kind of having traction. It's We Are All Kikuyus, and people who are non-Kikuyus are coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm going to use my I'm a non-Kikuyu, but I'll use my Kikuyu name," and they choose one Kikuyu name and all that stuff, all that nonsense. Okay, all right, so on the surface of it, it looks innocent. It looks okay. It's kind of like, okay, we are standing in solidarity with what is perceived to be, what seems to be like an aggressive, violent, um, you know, uh, approach to what happened. Sabasaba, majority of the places, like I said, the epicenter, the places that were really up in smoke were Central Province. It wasn't only limited to Central Province, as we know. These protests were, you know, uh, no, for the most part, it was supposed to be countrywide. But it wasn't limited to Central Province. Okay. Now, the problem with this hashtag is actually is that it confirms what the narrative by these political oligarchs, these colonial stooges, this political class, the narrative that they've been trying to propagate and push on Kenyans. They've made it a war between the government of the day versus the Kikuyu community, Mount Kenya, Murima. I told you that this was their last line of defense. This is their last bullet of survival, because they know, I've mentioned 100,000 times for the umpteenth time. I'll repeat it, but I won't delve into much into it. If you've been following this channel, I've been saying it and saying it all over again. I told you one thing that scared the political class was the fact that Kenyans of all tribes, all shapes and forms, sex, and all that stuff came together and formed this movement called Gen Z. And they were so successful. And so the only way these political oligarchs are going to try to scuttle and destroy it is to first label it, okay, diagnose it, okay. They know that majority of the Gen Zs are people from every corners, youth from every tribe. It's not only limited to any age group. Like I say, that's the name that is given. It's given to it, Gen Z, because the majority of the its members, of the people who are taking part in this protest, are the Gen Zs. Okay, so what the what the political class did, I told you, the mascot, the chief representative of these political oligarchs is William Samoei Ruto. He is the head of the state. Okay, so what he did him along Gachagua, Raila, and the rest of them, in order for them to survive, they are making sure that they are dealing with this headache called Gen Zs, because they are losing power. People are no longer buying this idea of having an opposition, because they do understand that the opposition that we have are nothing but pretenders. They are the very same recycled con men and women who have been there since time immemorial, who are perpetuating the same colonial agenda that we've had since we had a republic, so-called republic. Okay? And they understand that this Gen Z were challenging their grip on these states, the power that they've enjoyed for years. The Gen Zs are challenging, and they're challenging it by the very building blocks that these corrupt political oligarchs depend on for survival, which is the political parties that represent different ethnic groups, specific ethnic groups, which come from a specific region, leaders thereof that are nothing but tribal chieftains that head these ethnic political groups. That's why Gen Z came up with the idea of being tribeless, leaderless, and partyless, because they understood that these three building blocks is what is keeping Kenyans divided and effectively ruled by these colonial stooges. To give you the faces and names of these colonial stooges: Raila Odinga, Martha Karua, William Samoei Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, Rigathi Gachagua, Frederick Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa. All these people, they are nothing but mascots for the corrupt political elites that are enjoying power. Power that they've amassed, or they've enjoyed due to these three building blocks that keeps them relevant: tribe, political party, and what else? What was the third one? I'm forgetting here. Somebody remind me. Tribe, political party, and what? And this perception that they're leaders. Okay? They built their leadership based on the political party that they come from, political party that is built on represent a certain ethnic community. You understand? So here it is. So they've seen that they're losing power, and they're being threatened by a counter measures by the Gen Zs, who have identified that it is tribal chieftains or tribal leaders, and these political parties that have been used as vehicle to give power to these political oligarchs, who have in turn divided us and used us through violence, politics, and even religion to divide us so that we don't stand together. Now, we are all Kikuyus. We are all Kikuyus. The insinuation here, the implication is, after the Saba Saba, and like I said, I've mentioned in my previous videos, that Kikuyus shall be targeted. I always reference one speech that I heard from Uhuru Kenyatta. I've still tried to get that clip. I will repeat that clip verbally, verbatim. What Uhuru Kenyatta said? He said, kumi yangu, kumi ya Ruto, halafu gacha. Then he stopped himself because he reminded him, he remembered that he's not supposed to disclose the plan. He was drunk, giving a speech. About 5, 6, 7 minutes ago, Gachagua just retweeted and said, "My name is Gachagua. I am from Nyeri. Hashtag, we are all Kikuyus." Fully embracing this. Listen to me and listen to me carefully. All this is designed to empower Gachagua, because he is next in line to take power, to inherit Ruto's corrupt regime. I told you, these guys are friends. All of them, they're in the WhatsApp group. Raila Odinga's role in all this is basically to play that guy who pacifies the angry mob, the angry Kenyan people. He can care less if the leader is Kikuyu, if the president is Kikuyu, as long as every time the Wananchi are not happy with the government in the place, he will try to position himself as the leader of the opposition, as the voice of the people, and unleash his goons along with the statecraft, the police force, the defense force, the security apparatus, to subdue Kenyans from lynching the person who is leading the country, the oppressor of the day. So what this "We Are All Kikuyus" hashtag is doing, it's basically victimization of the Kikuyu community. It is basically painting the Kikuyus as the victims. Victims of what? Of the violence by the state, the oppressive state of the day. Remember, the enemy, the fear, the enemy of the state is the Gen Zs, because the Gen Zs are the new, real, organic, grassroots opposition, a representation of the people who are standing up against the oppressor, whose mascot is Ruto, who's part of the corrupt Kenyan political elites who are acting on behalf of the Western colonialists. So by coming up with this "We Are All Kikuyus" hashtag, it shifts focus from Gen Z, who are fighting and seeking justice for their own, who were gunned down during this Sabasaba and September 25th Occupy State House 2025 maandamano. The focus now is about, Kikuyus are the victims. It's no longer the Gen Zs. They don't want that name Gen Z. Oh, no. Gen Z, no, it's not a Gen Z thing anymore. This is now a Kikuyu thing. They're the victims. Now, I'm not saying that it is not a fact that the Kikuyus are being gunned down and killed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not disputing or refuting the fact that the young folks that have been killed in this protest, majority of them are Kikuyu youth. That's not in dispute here. What is in dispute is the propaganda machine that is writing and creating this narrative that majority of the Gen Zs are falling into, which will essentially dilute and dissolve and destroy this idea of Gen Z of being tribeless, partyless, and leaderless. Because by buying into this hashtag, we are all Kikuyus, it takes away the fact that, okay, it is only the Kikuyus that are falling a victim to the police and the state violence by the state. The state being in the hands of Ruto and Raila and the others. You understand? The focus is shifting from Gen Z, because to me, when those young Kikuyu youths who are protesting, who are out there, or whether they were protesting or they were just walking or they were innocent, whatever the case is, to me, I looked at them as Gen Zs, Kenyans. And I, when hear about their death, I would like to present them as part of the youth, Gen Z of Kenya, who are fighting for a better Kenya. I'm not trying to erase what makes them, their tribal affiliation or whatever the case is. And I'm doing that deliberately because I understand the implication. I understand the propaganda machine by the state that is trying very hard and so far successfully to a certain extent in making this a Kikuyu versus the state of Kenya, which is ruled by a Kalenjin who happens to be in a political coalition with a Luo leader, chieftain, tribal chieftain. So this hashtag is creating the very thing that these political oligarchs have been fighting so hard to maintain, which is tribal division and association. You understand what I'm saying? Like the video if you hear me. Share, like, subscribe, and do all the good stuff. So you see all the NIS, government affiliated folks who are always pretend to be the part of the opposition. They are all cause of the Mavericks and the whatever. I told you just a few minutes ago, Gachagua jumped on it, on the hashtag. We are all Kikuyus hashtag. And that's the very thing that they wanted. I made several videos telling you that, hey, Kikuyus, young folks from Kikuyu, Mount Kenya, it is incumbent upon you to stand firm and make this a national issue. Do not fall into demagogues like Gachagua, because Gachagua is the one who is going to gain from this. He's the next in line in their power handover scheme. While now you look at him like, oh, yeah, this is the guy who's representing us. Guess what? You'll be sold in the last minute, just like Uhuru before him, Kibaki before him, Moi before him, Jomo before him, and Ruto. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. So that is what is about to happen. That's the plan, to divide you on ethnic division. That's what they want. So it's a very clever, subtle way of you unapangwa without knowing. Those youth that were gunned down that happened to come from what is it called? Mount Kenya. They are part of Gen Z. They are Gen Zs. They are Kenyans. reducing them to say they are Kikuyu youth plays into the whole narrative that the political oligarchs are propagating, which is it was a Kikuyu uprising. It was never a Gen Z movement. It was a Kikuyu uprising. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people, even some people who are coming to my channel who are working for the government. I know them. I just listen to them very quietly. They are pushing this tribal Kikuyu propaganda very sternly, very vehemently. Sorry. That's what I mean. See what I'm saying? But anyway, let me not get into that. The message is, do not fall for this hashtag. Do not. Again, Majuto ni mjukuu. Some of you, or a good number of you, you are being influenced by your emotions. You feel, okay, our tribe is under siege, and there's a demagogue. That's why you had Wakina Oscar Sudi, they started mentioning that very soon watamkujia wa Munyoro. They'll go for Gachagua. Because they they're provoking you into this tribal division. It will be a fake arrest. Yoizidi to confirm, to affirm that narrative that they're painting, that this is a ethnic warfare, political confrontation between the state versus the Kikuyus. The Kikuyus are being targeted. I told you, that is their last bullet of defense. Because if you saw Raila Odinga come to this Kamkunji, he was scared. He has to step up and help the state to maintain peace. Because if Ruto loses today and Raila is dethroned and they're taken out, the whole political class will fall flat in its face. It will collapse. The house of cards will end there. Mnasikia? So it's up to you to use your heads and not let your emotion get the best of you. Especially the youth coming from Mount Kenya. This is an opportunity for you to actually seize the moment. This is when we want to find out who are the real revolutionaries. Someone who is ready to reject this narrative and stand as a Kenyan to fight for those youth who were shot not only in Mount Kenya, but everywhere else in the country. Ask yourself this as I conclude. Why didn't we have a hashtag back in the day in 2017, we are all Luos? Or even when, hold up, time out. Why didn't we have a hashtag when Ruto was brutalizing those youth in Nyalenda? Last year, was it last year or last year part 1? When the youths were being gunned down in Nyalenda, Kondele, in Kisumu. Why didn't we have a hashtag called, oh, we are all Luos? Why? You see what I'm saying? This is the narrative that this government wants to actually renew. Nice seeing you, Gypsy Corner. They want to divide you in tribe, kiukabila. So it's up to you. Don't say you are not one. I'm just warning you. Because if we play into this, niliwambia nini? These people this time, they want to sacrifice the Kikuyu youth. They want to sacrifice the Kikuyu youth. And the Kikuyu oligarchs are part of it. They are part of that plan. Thank you, Gypsy. I was just wrapping up. This is my second video of the day. But I just wanted to strongly speak on this we are all Kikuyus hashtag, because it's a very misleading hashtag. Very misleading, very divisive, very detrimental. Like I said. But anyway, folks, I will leave it here. Gypsy, thank you so much for joining. Unfortunately, you joined in late. I'm about to wrap up. I was just going to make a short video about this. Thank you. Thank you, Gypsy. Yep. Like I said, the only thing that Ruto depends on is propaganda war. He has to use propaganda. But anyway, I'll stop here, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. And put your notification on. Other than that, Gypsy Corner, sorry you came in late. I'm about to wrap up. I'll see you guys next time. Do all the good stuff. You know what's up. Peace and blessings.